Be honest with me for a second. The moment he realized he couldn't quite place you, couldn't fully read you, couldn't predict your next emotional move. That was the moment you stopped being just another woman in his life and started becoming a presence that quietly followed him into other rooms, other relationships, other late nights when he stared at his phone and didn't even know why. And I want you to lean into that feeling, because this isn't about manipulation or playing games. This is about understanding the psychology of desire at its deepest level. The kind philosophers hinted at when they said we desire what escapes us, and we lose interest in what fully belongs to us. And I'm telling you this, as a woman who learned the hard way that attraction doesn't live in perfection. It lives in polarity, mystery, self-possession, the kind that makes a man feel something before he understands it. Because the fantasy he never gets over isn't about your body or your beauty alone. It's about how you made him feel alive without ever needing him to validate you. It's the night you laughed a little softer and left a little earlier. The way you listened deeply but never over-explained. The way you held eye contact just long enough to make him feel seen and then calmly shifted your attention back to yourself. And right here, if this already resonates, make sure you're subscribed and notifications are on, because what I share on FemPhoria is not meant to be consumed once. It's meant to be embodied, replayed, integrated into the woman you're becoming. Because the truth most women are never taught is that men don't obsess over availability. They obsess over emotional contrast, the feeling that being with you elevates their internal world, that you are an experience, not a routine. And I learned this not from dating apps or trends, but from watching men who had everything still unravel over women who never chased them. Women who didn't punish or pursue. Women who simply stayed rooted in their own rhythm. And the secret is subtle dominance. Not loud power, not control, but the quiet authority of a woman who knows she is already whole. Because when you stop auditioning for love, love starts auditioning for you. And I want you to feel the shift as I say this. You are not here to be chosen. You are here to be remembered. And memory is built through emotion, through moments that interrupt the ordinary, through your ability to walk away energetically, even when you're still present. And that's why the fantasy he can't get over is not sexual in the obvious way. It's psychological. It's the unanswered question you become. And before we go deeper, I want you to comment your biggest takeaway so far, because saying it out loud anchors it into your nervous system. And yes, I read them, because this channel is a conversation between powerful women who are done shrinking. Let me take you inside the shift that changes everything. The moment you stop trying to be impressive and start being immersive. Because men are not hooked by effort. They are hooked by impact, by how they feel when they leave your presence. And this is where so many women unknowingly sabotage themselves. They overgive information, overexplain emotions, overperform availability. And what that does psychologically is remove tension. And desire needs tension the way fire needs oxygen. Philosophy has always understood this. From Nietzsche to Simone de Beauvoir, desire is born in freedom, not attachment. And when you embody this, when you live a life that feels full without him, something fascinating happens. He starts leaning in, asking more questions, replaying conversations, wondering where you are and who you're becoming. And this is not about being cold. It's about being centered, warm but selective, open but discerning. You don't disappear. You simply don't chase. You don't withhold affection. You just don't negotiate your worth for attention. And I've seen this dynamic repeat itself across cultures, ages, personality types. Men are drawn to women who feel like movement, like evolution, like a door that opens inward, not outward. And when you speak from experience, not insecurity. When you dress for your own gaze first. Luxury isn't about price tags. It's about intentionality. The silk blouse worn casually at lunch. The signature scent he can't quite identify on anyone else. The way you pause before answering instead of rushing to fill silence. Silence is powerful. Silence creates projection. And projection is where fantasy lives. Because he fills in the gaps with his own imagination. And now you're no longer just a woman. You're a story he keeps rewriting in his mind. And if this is clicking, turn on notifications, because what we're building here is not surface-level dating advice. It's a psychological recalibration. And the biggest hack no one tells you is this: the more emotionally regulated you are, the more unregulated his attraction becomes. Because calm confidence is rare. It signals choice. It signals abundance. And abundance is magnetic. You don't need to prove you're valuable. Your life proves it for you. And when conflict arises, you don't react. You respond. Measured, self-respecting, grounded, and that alone places you in a different category. Because the fantasy he can't get over is a woman who never loses herself. Even in love. Especially in love. Now listen closely. Because this is where it all locks in. The reason he can't get over you is not because you stayed. It's because you left energetically unchanged. You didn't beg. You didn't dramatize. You didn't collapse. You walked away with grace. And that grace becomes haunting. It becomes the moment he measures every future connection against. And they all fall short because they don't carry your frequency. And this is the part that empowers you beyond any relationship. When you stop centering men as the source of meaning and start centering yourself as the source of experience, everything rearranges. Your standards sharpen. Your intuition strengthens. Your presence deepens. And men feel that. They feel when a woman has options not because she's entertaining them, but because her life is rich. And I want you to remember this line. Write it down if you need to. A woman becomes unforgettable the moment she stops trying to be unforgettable. Because now she's living. Fully. Unapologetically. And if you've ever wondered why certain women linger in men's minds long after the connection ends, it's because they embodied a version of themselves that felt expansive. And expansion is addictive. And as we close this masterclass, I want you to feel your spine straighten, your breath slow, your self-trust activate, because you don't need tactics. You need embodiment. You don't need to be louder. You need to be deeper. And the fantasy he can never get over is not an act you perform. It's a woman you decide to be. And if this spoke to you, comment "I needed this" and watch how differently you move through the world tomorrow. And if you're ready to keep rising with me, you already know what to do. Stay close to FemPhoria. Because queens don't compete. They remember who they are and let the world adjust. And now, I want you to sit with this because this is where most women stop. They take a breath. They pause. And they forget that their power is meant to expand. Not contract. The fantasy he can never get over isn't built in fleeting moments of attention. It's constructed through the energy you carry consistently, through the way you inhabit your life like it belongs solely to you. Because, truthfully, it does. When you walk into a room, it's not about being seen. It's about commanding presence without demanding it. It's about a subtle shift in the atmosphere, the way heads turn slightly longer than necessary, the way conversations pause when you enter, the way his eyes betray the curiosity and intrigue he can't quite name. He doesn't need to understand it. He only needs to feel it. And that feeling, that electric mix of desire and wondrous a language. One that communicates confidence, autonomy, and emotional sovereignty louder than any words ever could. It's the quiet dominance of a woman who doesn't apologize for her laughter, her boundaries, her moods, or the magnetism that rises naturally from her knowing who she is. And you, my queen, are capable of being exactly that. Think of it like this. When you stop negotiating your energy for attention, when you stop fragmenting yourself to fit someone else's narrative, you become rare. And rarity is intoxicating. Men chase what they cannot fully have. They yearn for the story they feel they are missing. The version of you that exists in contrast to what they already know. And here's where philosophy and psychology intersect beautifully. Existentialists knew that desire exists in absence, in freedom, in the space between longing and attainment. And you can leverage that truth not by playing hard to get, but by living your life with such radiant self-possession that the gap between him and you isn't filled by anything but imagination, reverie, and the memory of what he experienced in your presence. I want you to imagine every encounter as an imprint, a lingering aroma that follows him into his daily routine. The echoes of your voice, the nuance of your humor, the ease of your self-assured grace. He won't even realize what's happening, hell, just know that no one compares. No one excites. No one makes him feel seen and simultaneously challenged in the exact right ways the way you did. That, my love, is why the fantasy becomes unforgettable. It's not about manipulation. It's about master mystery of self, of presence, of the magnetic tension between desire and fulfillment.